Hello and welcome to Lesson 5 of the UNIDO SPX programme. My name is Richard Keegan and today we will be talking about the medicine of world-class business. The topics we'll be dealing with are basic lean principles, rules, tools and questions, lean world-class definition, lean world-class tools and the philosophy of improvement. To start, we will talk about basic lean principles, rules, tools and questions. These are designed to help you improve your operations, your competitiveness, your capacity. What is lean? Lean is focused on effectiveness and efficiency. It captures the ways we know today of doing the right things well. It's a war on waste. And if we ask ourselves, what is the alternative? The alternative is that we do things inefficiently, that we waste resources, we waste time, we waste our people's energies and our efforts. Or we actually try to use the best thinking that we know today to produce products effectively and efficiently for our customers so that we in our company can retain as much value from our effort as possible. Lean is based on the Toyota production system. The Toyota production system itself is based on their understanding of the best practices across the globe of how to manufacture products well, how to service them well, how to supply to their customers well. Lean was understood by American consultants and American academics. Back in the 1980s, the problem in America was that the Japanese could sell products for the same price that it took the Americans to make them. They realized there must be something different in how the Japanese were making their products. They studied, they took the opportunity to learn, to see what was different and to see what they could use to improve their operations. They were not too proud to go to learn. You may also have heard of the concept of Six Sigma. Six Sigma and Lean are similar activities, but in the Six Sigma approach, it was developed by Motorola Corporation in America and is largely statistically based, using statistics and statistical methods to find ways to identify wastes, to remove them from an operation, to improve competitiveness and profitability. Lean, however, focuses more on the business processes, on a broader perspective, not using as much statistics, but actually driving performance across the full business piece. Six Sigma tends to dive deep into individual discrete projects, going deeper to understand the fundamental aspects of the process. The approaches to improve competitiveness need to be integrated into a company strategy and actually need to drive a company strategy. If a company chooses not to be competitive or doesn't decide to integrate this into its strategy, it will be unlikely that it will improve competitiveness and be able to compete with the best that are out there. To start the process, we have developed some lean principles. The principles are very simple, they're very high level, but it gives an overview, an arching across the full process to help you understand how lean can be used in your operation. The first of these principles is time. How long does it take from the first time you make contact with the customer to the point where the customer receives their product and in fact you get paid for your efforts? Most people can understand the concepts of time. We understand how to measure time, and it's possible for our people to actually look at how long it takes them to do their task. The second key principle of lean is that of money. If we look at money, we usually get paid for our efforts, for our products by our customers, but quite often we lose an amount of money in our operations, in our businesses, through wasteful effort, through waste product, doing things that are unnecessary or doing things that are wrong. Once again, to be using the concept of money It allows us to bring this idea to our people, to our businesses, to find ways to save money and retain more of the value for our business. The third key principle of Lean is that of effort. How hard is it to do the job you're asking your people to do? We must understand that we ask people to put effort, their energies will change a raw material into a finished product, will change a request for a product from a customer into the paperwork to allow it to be manufactured, into the service to be delivered to the customer. If it's hard to do the job that we ask our people to do, it is unlikely that they will do it efficiently. If they're not doing it efficiently, it's unlikely that we will retain as much value to our business as we could and should. But the most important principle of Lean is that a company must want to compete. It seems very simple, but not every company wants to compete. Some companies are very content to have a lifestyle and not necessarily to want to take on the effort that is required to compete with the best. It is possible to do business without necessarily being the very best that's out there, without wanting to compete. There are some rules, and we believe that there are rules about how to deal with people and also how to look at processes. Firstly, we will talk about the rules of dealing with people. And these rules are all based on a level of respect. Respect for people, for yourself, for your customer, for your business, for your environment. In dealing with people, the first principle, the first rule should be fairness. There should be a degree of fairness. Fairness must work both ways. It must be fair to the worker, but the worker must be fair to the company and do a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. Firmness. If we know how a process should be done, if we know how a job should be done, it should be done that way consistently. Not the way somebody chooses to do it, but the way the business knows is the best way to do it. And this should be held and should be a firm activity within the business. But also in dealing with people, we should have consistency. Everybody should be treated well, in a consistent fashion, according to the rules. Once again, as I say, with respect for everybody. They're the rules for dealing with people. The rules for dealing with processes, and as I say, processes will convert our raw materials into our offer to our customer. To understand processes, we must firstly look at the process. We must take the time to go to see, to understand what's actually happening within our process. We must move away from thinking that we know what is happening. We must go to the shop floor. We must go to the point where processes take place to look to see what is actually happening. When we go to the process, when we go to the shop floor, when we go to the office to look, we must try and see what is happening. This seems a strange thing to say, but quite often if we're working in a business for a long period of time, for many years, it's very hard for us to see what is actually happening. And the tools of Lean, of best practice, which we will share through these lessons, will provide you with the techniques to allow you to see the processes as they really are. When we see the process, we must understand what is happening. We must understand where the value is being created. We must understand how the raw material changes from a raw material into a finished good, into a product. We must understand the detail of the processes, whether it be time, temperature, pressure, whether it be the cutting instruments. We should understand how our machinery and our processes convert raw materials to value added. We must understand where we have opportunities to improve. We must understand where we have opportunities to reduce the wastes and the defects. And when we understand that and we think about what we want to do to improve, we must take the active steps to improve, to make the process better. To help us drive forward, to improve our competitiveness and our capacity, there are 5 fundamental tools that are very useful and very easy to use in a business. The first of those is process mapping. It's a way to identify what is happening in your operation, to give you the information to see the trees from the forest, to look again afresh at your processes to understand what is happening, and we will deal with that in some detail. The second key element, key tool, is that of physical flow mapping. We call it the spaghetti diagram. Look at the physical movements of materials and information through your business. Once again, it gives you a tool to see your business afresh, to ask questions, to understand how you may be able to improve what your people are doing and how your business is working. The third fundamental tool is that of check sheets. This is not, did I put all the pieces together, but it's a way of identifying what is happening, how often it is happening, the importance of what is happening. We will deal with it in the next lesson, but it brings detail to you to understand what is going right or going wrong in your operation, to understand where you can apply your energies to improve. A run chart. It's important for you to know and for your people to know if things are getting better or getting worse, and to be able to see in an active way if your operation is becoming more competitive, higher quality, higher productivity, or is it disimproving? And once again, we will show you how to create these run charts and how to use them. And the last and the most fundamental tool of all companies who want to improve their competitiveness, who want to drive forward, is that of teams, of people working together to improve their business. One person can do a good job. Two people can usually get a lot more done. But a team of people who are working to achieve the same goal, the same objective, can achieve incredible things. And one of the most powerful tools of best practice of the UNIDO SPX improvement process is the releasing of the energies of the people in your team, with the view to driving forward to build capacity of your business and to increase your ability to retain value. Over the years, in delivering these tools and techniques to small and medium-sized companies and even large companies across the world, I had an opportunity one time, having done a visit to a major German company, a family-owned business. At the end of the visit, I was asked the people in the company what had they learned and what had they felt about the visit. My visit was to help them to see best practice, to understand best practice. And they said to me, "We didn't understand, Dr. Keegan, how you always knew how to ask the right question." And I had to think, what questions had I asked? And this have now become my 5 lean questions. I realized that throughout the 2 days, I had only asked 5 questions, no matter which department we had visited. The first question that always was asked was, "Excuse me, can you tell me please, what are you doing?" Ask your people, go to your operations, ask them, what are they doing? The second key question is, please explain to me, how are you doing that? How are you doing your job? If you look closely at it, you will be looking to see, is it all value-adding time being spent, or is there degrees of waste within the energy the people are using? The third question is why are you doing that? If you go to your businesses, and we'll talk later about the physical and the process flow, when you learn how to look through the lean eyes and the best practice eyes that UNIDO SPX will share with you, you will begin to see wastes in a different way. Why are you doing something is a very powerful question. The last 2 questions move to improvement. The first of the questions is, who is going to improve the process? Who is going to improve it? The last question of the 5 questions is when. In the first 3 questions, we are capturing the facts of the current process. The last 2 are about improvement. And as you will have seen, throughout the UNIDO SPX process, it's about improvement. Those 5 questions can be very helpful to you in your lean journey. We move on to talk about a war on waste. To be competitive, we have to decide that we want to remove waste. We want to only leave value add in our processes so that we optimize and take the best benefit from the raw materials and our energies and efforts to our products, to our customers, so that we only give them value, which in turn means that we maximize the amount of value that we retain for our business itself. You may have heard of the terms just-in-time and total quality management. It is unlikely you have heard about AFR, absolutely focused and relentless. And the UNIDO XPX program talks about an approach where we take an absolutely focused and relentless approach to improving our competitiveness. We keep working to drive forward. Toyota identified 7 wastes that they identified in manufacturing as the losses that can be incurred in a business. Here you will see 8 wastes. The first 7 are the Toyota wastes. The 8th waste is the waste of people's time and energy and effort. In Toyota, they base all their activities on respect of their people, so they do not see the waste of people because it's a fundamental thing that they avoid from the very outset. But the 7 Toyota wastes. The first waste there is motion. Are people walking too much, moving too much to do the job? Are materials being transported too much, too far, too often? Is too much effort going into the processing? Is it possible to achieve the outcome with less processing effort? Are there defects? Obvious things are defects. One of the best places to look in your business if you're trying to improve its competitiveness is in the waste bin to look at the defects. Are people waiting for materials that they have to wait for before they can do their work? Is too much material being produced so that overproduction has taken place? Does inventory exist where materials are held in stock? By looking for these wastes, it gives us an opportunity to identify how we can drive forward. In the UNIDO system, the SPX system, we're using benchmarking as the diagnosis and best practice as the medicine. And best practice is constantly changing. We must understand that acceptable standards are constantly changing. Our customers' requirements are expanding day by day. The world is becoming a more advanced place day by day. And we must understand that these standards will change. I like motorcycles. I used to have a Honda Goldwing 1500. It was a very, very good motorcycle, thought to be the best of its kind at the time in the world. Until Honda produced, without any major competition from the marketplace, an 1800 Goldwing, which exceeded the performance of the 1500. And I'm sure they are constantly working and continuously working on the next version of the motorcycle. We need to be aware the standards will change. We need to challenge ourselves to move with the standards, and maybe as we build our capacity and our ability to actually lead the changes going forward. To help explain the process, to help explain the concepts, we will talk about the definitions of lean and world-class. Here's a definition that we adopted in my home country in Ireland many years ago. World-class manufacturing, best practice, lean production is the pursuit of superior performance in quality, lead time, cost and customer service through continuous improvement in just-in-time manufacturing, total quality management and employee involvement. This definition is as current today as it was 10 to 15 years ago when we first created it. Let me explain why we believe that. To be world-class, to be able to compete locally, nationally, internationally, it's important that we as a business, you as your business, decide to pursue superior performance. Customers have many choices. They can decide to buy from you or to buy from many other people. Typically, their opportunity will be to say, how can they make the best benefit for themselves? And if you as your company can demonstrate superior performance, it's likely that you will become the most attractive supplier. You will be the supplier of choice to your customers. But what characteristics are they typically looking for? Most customers want good quality. They have a definition that they define what their quality requirements are. If you meet the quality requirements, you can do business with them. If you don't meet the quality requirements, chances are you will not do business with them. You might get the opportunity to sell to them once, but if your quality is not good enough for their needs, you will not be asked to supply again. Lead time. Why is lead time an important characteristic of a good company? Most companies, when they want a product, they will say, I want it on a certain day, at a certain time. If you cannot supply within that requirement, why would they buy from you? Why would they ask you to give them a product that they know you will not be able to deliver when they need it? They will only deal with companies who can deliver when they need it. If you get the opportunity to sell to a company by giving them a promise that you will deliver on time, but then fail to deliver on time, chances are you will not get repeat business. Many companies have decided to make the ability to deliver quickly at short lead time a key factor of how they do business. A number of companies are using short lead times as a key strategic activity for them in the marketplace. It helps them differentiate themselves from others. Some companies think having to deliver at short lead times is a problem. Yes, it can be difficult, but if you can improve your processes so that you're in a position to be able to deliver at short lead times, you once again have created a strategic advantage for your company over your competitors. If you do it by working really, really hard, it might be hard to sustain that. If you can achieve short lead times by working very cleverly and by looking at your processes and your people and finding ways to be able to reduce the lead time, you have a sustainable competitive advantage. Cost is obviously a key factor for customers. But cost is made up of many different factors. It's important to understand how your costs are made up and to find ways to reduce those costs as best as you can. If customer service is not good, why would a customer keep coming back to you? It's important that we understand the customers are people who have needs and desires. And if we can service them properly, we have an opportunity to sustain a long-term partnership relationship, which is the fundamental of the UNIDO SPX system. But how to achieve these objectives is a big issue. And the use of the just-in-time manufacturing tools and techniques, the total quality management and the employee involvement techniques can help you to deliver on those primary objectives. In the UNIDO SPX system, we have taken the time to simplify the tools and techniques to provide them at 3 distinct levels suited to your stage of development. What we have seen across the world is that companies who adopt these concepts and these techniques are optimizing the problem-solving abilities of their employees in applying both modern techniques such as just-in-time and total quality management and traditional industrial engineering techniques and methods. The best companies in the world are using a combination of the very simple tools and techniques of check sheets and run charts, physical and process flows, and teams of people working together, and the sophisticated tools of Six Sigma and process and statistical analysis. To simplify these definitions, we believe that these 4 words define the definitions. To be a competitive manufacturer, it's about delivering your products quicker, better, and cheaper. The only way we believe that's possible is with the people in the business working together, with a group of people deciding that they will deliver good products to their customers on time at good prices. You may have seen the House of World Class. In my role as the EU advisor to the World Class Manufacturing Missions for the EU-Japan Centre for Industrial Cooperation, we see many examples of the Houses of World Class from people who want to visit Japan to study best practice. This is a simple representation of the house that we use in Ireland in our work with Irish companies. We are obviously trying for companies to be world class. We believe the foundation for this activity is based on employee involvement and employee engagement. We believe that just in time, doing things right and well in the manufacturing area, and the use of total quality, understanding the basics of quality, are fundamental elements to build this house of world class. What we have seen, in actual fact, when companies adopt the concepts, they are creating supplier partnerships. They are developing world-class manufacturing capabilities. We have benchmarking to verify that they are operating at world-class standards. And benchmarking is available to you to the UNIDO SPX system. Their products are competitive, their services are competitive. They understand their business processes, they're managing them. Not just the manufacturing process, but the administration, the sales, the product development, the design. And as a consequence of this working hard to be good, they have developed strong and long-term customer partnerships. We will now move to talk about some of the lean world-class tools to explain to you in outline what some of these tools are and how they might be used within your business. We start with manufacturing, just-in-time manufacturing. These 5 points are 5 of the key elements of just-in-time, but obviously they are not the totality of the concepts. The first key point deals with layouts and flows. Most businesses, over time, change how their layout is created. A new piece of equipment arrives, a different product is introduced. And quite often, how the flows and the machinery are laid out in the business is no longer optimal, is no longer the best way for the materials and the products to flow through the business. Maybe look again at your layout and your flows and ask, is it still current and still viable? I refer you back to the supporting text that goes along with these lessons, the Applied Benchmarking for Competitiveness text, where you will find examples of these tools being used. Setup time reduction. It refers to the length of time it takes from having made one good product, changing over before you can make the next good product from the same machinery and equipment. The big challenge is to reduce the amount of setup time so that you can increase the amount of working time and value-adding time. Manufacturing systems we will deal with in one of the later lessons, but how do you organize your people, your resources, your machines, your materials to optimize the amount of productive effort that can be produced from your business with your people? Productive management. It's in parentheses. Quite often management are responsible for much of the waste in a business because our people do what we ask them to do. So we must find out ways so that we can actually ask them to do things effectively. Academic researchers have showed that 70 to 80% of all the waste in a manufacturing business, in a service business, in a business, is due to how we as managers ask our people to do things. If we start from the basis that the vast majority of our people want to do a good job, it puts a major pressure on us as management to understand how we can help them to do that. And just-in-time supplies. Many years ago, when I started on this journey, I used to have discussions with companies who said they had to hold 3 months or 6 months worth of stock of the most simple things such as raw materials such as mild steel. And he explained to me, this particular manager, that he had to hold 6 months worth of mild steel because he was 30 miles from the major town. I explained to him that actually the longest time it took to deliver from the major town to his premises was 1 day. But still he insisted on holding 6 months worth of stock. In actual fact, he had tied a lot of his money into raw material, which meant that he was under pressure from his financiers. We should be looking to see how we can run our businesses effectively and efficiently with the least amount of stock. The second key area is that of total quality management. Once again, I say these are not all the elements of total quality, but we believe there are five topics which are relevant and helpful to you in your desire to improve your process. The first point comes to the question of process capability. If we want to be more competitive, we must understand what our processes are actually doing. Not what we think is happening, but what is actually doing. If we don't understand what our processes can do, how can we improve them? We must get into the detail of understanding how our processes perform before we can improve them. If we want to eliminate waste, we must identify the waste. And how we can identify the waste is made simple through the use of the tools which are being shared with you over these lessons. The tools of quality. I've spoken about the 5 fundamental tools, the most basic, simple tools of quality: process and physical flow, check sheets and run charts, and teams of people. There are many other tools that can be helpful, and they are in the documentation, the support documentation. But if you understood the 5 fundamental tools and used them well and extensively, you would have a very major step forward in your improvement process. It's important that your people have a customer focus, that they understand your customers and have a desire to give them a good product or a good service. It's not enough that you as the senior team, you as the manager, you as the salesperson has a customer focus, because you are just the face of the company. The rest of the company has to supply the proper quality to the customer with a view to satisfying their needs and their requirements. And the last of the key elements of total quality refers to quality function deployment. If you study the business texts, you will see that quality function deployment is an advanced technique to understand your capacity, your customer needs, and to optimize a solution for them. Passing the quality function deployment concept through the filter of the UNIDO SPX system to simplify it in the quicker, better, cheaper, together approach, quality function deployment means the spreading of quality right through everybody in your business. It is not enough that quality is managed and delivered by the quality department. It is not enough that one person or 2 people or a small group of people are responsible for quality. The quality that your customer perceives is built into your product by the person who designs it, the person who buys the right materials, the person who manufactures it well, the person who delivers it properly, the person who collects the payment properly. The full experience is what your customer sees. So unless quality is across your full operation, you will not deliver a quality experience and product to your customer. And that is what we mean by deploying quality right across your business, so that everybody understands what is going on. I've referred repeatedly to employee involvement, to people, and the necessity for people to be engaged in the process. We talk about employee involvement. In actual fact, it's about employee engagement. About you engaging with your people and your people engaging with you to achieve the common objective of your business. There's some key elements to this question of involvement and engagement. Empowerment. People should be given the opportunity and the expectation should be set that they will engage with you and the business to deliver its improvement, its effectiveness. For people to be effective, they need to be trained. If they need to do something, they need to know how to do it. They need to know what makes a difference. They need to know what makes it good and what makes it bad. If they want to do it properly, they need to be trained so they can be effective. They absolutely must have the quality awareness. If they don't understand the importance of quality and how they can affect quality, it is impossible for them to deliver good quality to your customer. We believe that group problem solving and improvement teams can be very helpful in your improvement process. Why do we say that? We have moved in the world from the position where the manager has to have all the good ideas. It's clear that people have brains and have the potential to contribute at their own level to help improve processes, to solve problems, to understand. As a manager, it is unlikely that you will be able to spend as much time in the production area, in the office area, as you would like. But your people are there all day, every day. And if they have the tools and the challenge and the expectation is set for them that they will improve their processes, you begin to release their energies as parts of improvement teams. It's important that we also look at our products and our services. Designed for manufacture. A question needs to be asked. How hard is it to make our product? Is it easy to assemble our product? Is it easy to do the task we need to ask our people to do? Or does it demand very great effort on their part? By looking at the design for manufacture and for maintenance and for service after life, it's possible for us to make the products, design the products in a way to make it easy to make and to support. We should be looking at how we design our products so they can be used well. We should be assured that our products meet the regulatory requirements. It's become more and more important that our products and our equipment and our machines and our processes meet the legal requirements. To do that, we must be aware of what those requirements are. We must be sure that our products do not cause our business issues going into the future. A major source of information can be product evaluation. Understanding where your competitors are, understanding what they are doing, what their products do, how they perform, have they created ideas and solutions? Can you improve on that? Can you change that? Can you drive your products and your processes better and further forward? Management is a key element of a business. The leadership role that management bring to a business is essential. We believe it's important to have effective information technology. The structures and strategies need to be in place and plans and projects need to be organized. What do we mean by effective information technology? The effective information technology can be as simple as a dot on a graph drawn with a pencil on a piece of paper. It does not have to be an integrated computer system providing high-level management information system data. The effectiveness is the important word there, that you have the right information at the right place at the right time to help you and your people to improve your processes. Structures and strategies are important. If you don't know where you're going with your business and your people don't know where you're going with your business, if you haven't got a strategy, any direction will do. It's important that we have the strategies in place and the structures in place to help us deliver on that. And plans and projects. We need to know what we can do. We need to know what resources we have available. We need to plan so that we can deliver on our projects for improvement, so that we can deliver to our customers what they want when they want it. When best practice, world-class, lean started first, it was focused on the manufacturing area. It's now clear that it also requires a focus on the office processes. And we think it's important that you look at world-class processes in your office systems, that you look at lean administrative systems, that you ask your people in your offices and support areas to look for continuous improvement. How can they improve what they are doing on a daily basis? Can they identify which parts of their processes are adding value? Can they find ways to increase the value being added and not necessarily just do the work? The more we can focus our energies in the office area to achieve improvements, we believe there is an opportunity to make your customer experience even better. A lot of problems between businesses end up due to administrative areas, incorrect paperwork, or difficult systems to go through the processes within the two respective customer and supplier processes. So by looking for the value adding and trying to make the process simpler and better, will provide a better experience for your customer and once again can help differentiate your business from your competition. We believe there's a philosophy of improvement. And this philosophy of improvement is helpful, we believe, to help you understand how you might like to progress. It's a combination of modern and ancient thinking. The first three lines, I hear, I forget, I see, I believe, I do, I understand, comes from the Tao, an ancient Chinese text, several thousand years old. I hear, I forget. Something comes in, goes out. I see, I believe it's possible. I do, I understand. I take care and I improve, I master and I innovate, comes from Professor Hajime Yamashina, formerly of Kyoto University, a major Japanese thinker in the area. And the last part, so start, comes from myself. You must learn about good practice, you should learn about the tools and techniques, but you must also start to do your improvement process so that you can achieve your competitiveness with the support of the UNIDO SPX program.